What's up, gamers? I'm your host, Zach Sharps, here with episode number 2 of Season 2 of Level Up. And on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at C9, or Continent of the Ninth, which is a dungeon-based action MMORPG developed by NHN Corporation and published by Webzen. Now, I'm going to be spending about 15 minutes checking this game out, and this first impressions is based off of about 25 hours of gameplay, a little bit, give or take a little bit more or less. But sit back, enjoy, and remember to leave a like if you enjoy the video. Let's go. Alright guys, so the first thing you do in every MMO is go to the character creation screen, make your character, so on and so forth, but normally the first thing you get to choose is your class. Now in C9 it's no different. You have 4 different starting classes available. Now I said starting classes because, as I'll mention here in a second, you get to choose a subclass. So to start off, Fighter at level 20 gets to turn into a Warrior, Guardian, or Blade Master. But at the start up to level 20, you're mainly a Sword and Board type class. That is always melee. Now, you're not really going to do a lot of range stuff as a fighter in this game. It's not like Guild Wars 2 where you get a rifle or whatever and make yourself a range character. This game, it's primarily up close and personal, even with all the 3 subclasses. Hunter, however, is a range/melee character. It's sort of like your assassin-y rogue, or acrobatic rogue, I guess you could say as well. And at level 20, you get to choose between an assassin, ranger, or scout. Now, I've made 2 hunters. I'm a huge hunter fan. I love playing range characters, and I gotta say they are massively fun. And then we have our shaman, which is sort of our elementalist type class. And it's really weird not having a mage class in a game, but this game, it sort of makes it a little bit better with having the subclasses. And at level 20, the shaman gets to choose between the elementalist, taoist, or illusionist. The witchblade, however, is a warlocky type class. That is sort of a little bit more on the darker side, which is why I call it the warlocky type class. You can just tell it from the background as well. But the witchblade gets to turn into a warden, slayer, or night stalker. I do have to say the class variation in this game is very, very good, because you get to choose between those 3 different subclasses for each of your classes. So, I mean, realistically, you have a total of 12 classes available to you, which is really, really nice. Now, on the character creation screen, the character creation is not really that different from most games. You have your typical character name, your faces that you get to choose between, your features, skin colors, just you have a lot of stuff here to take account of for. However, there's really going to be no way you can get away from your character looking Asian. Now, it's not really bad to look Asian. I'm not being racist or anything, but most games allow you to at least make your character look the way you want to look, or at least make it so you're able to make a character that looks somewhat like you. But in this game, I could work on it for hours and still not even get anywhere close to not looking Asian. So I thought I'd mention that to you guys, because I know some of you may not like that Asian feel to your characters. So I thought I'd mention that to you. But as you guys see here, there's a little bit of customization that you could do. I really like the fact that there's a length meter for the hair. It's very nice to have in a game because a lot of people don't like the hairstyles. So this way, at least they get to alter them a little bit and make it their own. So I thought that was really, really nice. But overall, like I said, the customization of this game is nothing different from a lot of MMOs. But it does have a decent scale to it, which is always really nice. So let's go ahead and jump right into the game. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to see in every single game you play is the graphics or a cinematic, but if you hop into this game, you're going to see the graphics first, which is something that you're probably going to say looks not that great compared to mine. And the reason for that is they start you off on like medium settings, and then you have to turn up your saturation and all that stuff to make it look like this. I have my saturation on max, I'm in between medium and high settings, and the game looks very visually appealing and runs pretty stably without fraps on. It's very rare that I'll actually get a frame drop, Typically, it's when I turn the corner and there's a bunch of guys, but for the most part, in dungeons, I never get frame drops, so that, for the most part, is not an issue with performance. But the game overall looks pretty good. The textures don't load as frequently as I would like them to, and as quickly as I would like them to, but overall, as you go through the game, you're going to notice a very visually appealing world, with very visually appealing dungeons, and just a massive and vast city hub for you to look out into, I guess you could say. So overall, I feel the graphics of this game is very, very, very good compared to games like Vindictus and Dragoness. I feel like this one is definitely the best, and the reason for that is the fact that Vindictus is corridor based, and so is sort of Dragoness as well. So you really aren't as stuck into a linear path in this game for your city hub as you are in Vindictus or Dragonest, and that's just something that is opinion based. I mean, really, some people may like the way Dragonest is, some people may like the way Vindictus is. I personally really don't. I like this sort of style a bit more, where the city hub's a little bit more open, more vast, and there's more to do. So with that out of the way, let's go over and jump right into a dungeon. Alright guys, so now that we're nearing the northern dungeon entrance, let me go ahead and point out that there's 2 dungeon entrances in Waterford, and that's something that's very important because it'll allow you to level up that much faster. For example, if you have a bunch of quests in the artisan workshop that you just got done with, all you have to do is walk over there and walk back to the northern dungeon entrance, instead of having to walk, say, to the southern dungeon entrance. That will take a little bit more time for you to walk over to. So the ease of access is there, and it's very, very worth noting considering I've actually enjoyed having 2 different dungeon entrances, because sometimes I'll go to the northern, sometimes I'll go to the southern based off of where my quests end up being for me to turn in. Now, keep in mind that both the dungeon entrances get you to this same screen, so you're not really gonna have to worry about going to one or the other for different quests. They all take you to the same screen that you're viewing right now. So you're going to notice that Goblin Forest is the starting dungeon. Now, most starting dungeons are very boring, but this one is very, very good looking. And also, when you change difficulties, the map changes. The progression paths change, and it makes it so every different dungeon, every different difficulty is always different, which is always very welcome because it adds more variation to the dungeon grinder that is C9. Now, I can't do PvP because of the fact that PvP will not work for me. I tried it many times. I saw the tutorial. It just will not allow me to enter the arena because my level is too low for whatever reason. Even though the site says level 10 is when you can enter, I'm level 13. It still will not let me do it. So once I get the availability to do PvP, I'll jump into that and show you guys it. But in this first impressions, you guys are only going to see the PvE side of it. So let's go ahead and jump into Imp Forest and get right into the combats, which is the, I guess you could say, the meat and soul of C9. Alright guys, so now that we're fully loaded into the dungeon, let me go ahead and briefly talk about the interface to the game. At the top left corner, you're going to see your health bar, your resurrection scrolls, your portrait, your mana bar, and you're going to see a maximum rage bar as well, which you could fill up by doing consumables such as the Memory of John. So I'm going to go ahead and do that since this won't evaporate by the time we get to the boss, and I'm going to use it when we get to the boss. Basically what Max Fury does is it increases your attack speed, your physical damage, so on and so forth, and basically allows you to be an absolute badass. So we'll demonstrate that later on when we get to the boss fight of this dungeon, but let me go ahead and briefly show you guys all the different menus you have here. You have your character info, which basically shows your arena record, which is the main thing you want to keep track of, and also your base stats, your base attributes, your special attributes, and your elemental attributes as well as some different legends such as titles and stuff like that as well. Like I can apply this, register legend, and I'm now Feared Goblin Hunter Nez T, and it adds stats as well, which is really, really cool having title systems like that in the game. Then you also have your skill info, which basically give you all previews of all your skills to see basically how you want to set up your combos for future reference. So that's really cool as well. You have your quest info, which shows all the different difficulties you have to do for each different dungeon to complete each quest. That's very nice as well. Also, all your tutorials are here as well, which allow you to learn the game that much further, which I do recommend doing because it allows you to make yourself that much better at your class, especially in this game because they do teach your class very, very good to you. So that's really nice to note as well. Then we have our guild window. I've not really touched on this a lot yet, but it seems to be a basic guild window with a lot of guild buffs, guild house, stuff like that for you to explore. I can't show you guys the arena menu because 1, I'm in a dungeon, and 2, I'm not high enough level apparently. Then we have our community tab with create group and all your friends list, artisan tab for all your crafting and stuff like that, and then a help menu, and then the system menu. But you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here to hear my first impressions of the combat, and the combat in this game is very smooth. It's not that linear because all the dungeons feel very open or open enough. Like I said, the town hub even seems very open as well versus, say, in Vindictus or Dragon Nest. Not to say that Dragon Nest doesn't have a lot of open areas, and same with Vindictus, but at the beginning of the game it just feels very closed in, where this game feels very open. Now, each dungeon looks very good, feels very good, and they change based off of your difficulty that you choose, and they'll be laid out differently as well. So, I mean, you may come across the same cave, but you may come from, say, like over there or over up here or something like that. And it'll just be a different path for you to follow, which feels really good because that way it feels different each time you go through. And that way you're also not experiencing, like I said, the same thing twice or 3 times or 4 times over as you go through the different difficulties like you would in, say, Vindictus or Dragon Nest, which I feel that they fail a lot, which is the variation. So that's very nice that C9 sort of makes accounted for. That way you don't really have to feel that same thing over and over and over again, because no one likes to feel that. That's just very boring, unoriginal, and no one cares about the same thing over and over again, because no one likes a grind. So I feel they did a very good job adding variation to the different dungeons and adding a lot of different traps here and there to make you feel constantly on your toes, which is always cool as well. I mean, they have different area debris, like this cave feels like it's falling down. You also have different traps here. You have the spike traps, you have the fireball traps, you have mobs that are inside a chest that appear when you try to unlock a chest. You just have a lot of different variation throughout the different dungeons for you to explore. And the combat feels very good with it as well. I mean, the combat, you have a lot of cool combos that you could do, such as the one I just did there. And they teach you it very good throughout all your quests. I mean, you have different combo practices that you do, and I recommend doing them all the time because you get in a rhythm with your combos, so that way you learn them a lot better, and you're overall a better player at your class. So I feel they do a very good job teaching you, and they also do a very good job executing, which is also very important. Also, throughout dungeons, you're going to see stuff like this, which is basically your fountains of health or mana, or both. Sometimes you do come across ones that recover both, and they're very useful, and they don't really, it's not really a hold your hand type of thing either, which is also very, very important. And I just found out, oh, my max fury does evaporate over time, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you guys that. But basically, imagine me on fire, and pretty much invincible. So, you know, it's pretty cool to have a thing like that throughout this game. I mean, Silk Road had something like that as well, where you were turned into a demon after you killed a certain amount of mobs, and I felt that was probably the best aspect of Silk Road, is that sort of demon transformation, and this game does it just the same, except for you're not a demon this time, you're just on fire and you're pretty much invincible, and it's really, really cool, although you still take damage, which is something I found very interesting. And also, just like in every dungeon crawler MMO, you have sort of like this chest thing. You saw it in Dragon Nest. I believe there was also one in Vindictus as well, but it's just a staple to dungeon crawler MMOs that I've sort of seen over the course of my gaming career. So that is it for C9 though. I mean, I showed you guys all I could with what I have available to me. I really wish I would have been able to show you guys the PvP in this video, but I'll save that for the review of C9 coming in the later months when the game is officially released and actually out for everyone to play. So that is it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video enough to give me a like. I overall think that C9 is a very good game. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, though. Do you think C9 is a good game, or do you not like dungeon crawler MMOs? Basically, just leave your thoughts down there. I really love reading you guys' comments, and I reply to a lot of them as well. So that is also something that you guys should know, because I do reply. I try my best. But also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Lugo Entertainment, twitter.com/ZachSharps, and twitter.com/Lugo Plays. Also follow our new channel as well, youtube.com/Lugo Plays, for gaming commentaries by Mr. Jake Rossetti and the rest of the Lugo Entertainment crew. But that is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, enough to give us a like. But that is C9. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and catch you guys next time.